What's up, Wolfpack? We got the first recorded exercise of today. I'm also near the end of my entire workout. We have tricep press. I usually don't do this, but all the exercises I have left are in use, and I'm on a tight schedule. So I'm gonna hit this. It's not gonna be too big of a deal. Right now for warm-up weight, we got 100 pounds on. Last time I did this was about, I don't know, like in December, maybe November, and I was able to max it out. So maybe I'm going a little lighter than normal, but that's fine. All right. Oh, wait. I gotta flip the... Okay. I'm gonna max it out first set, first working set. If I do more than 10 on this, which I don't think I will, but for whatever case I actually do, I'm gonna switch to a unilateral version where I just, as I'm kind of already stating, I'm just gonna do one arm at a time. You guys will see that. I'm trying to figure out if I wanna do another arm exercise, because literally all I have left is arm exercises. And let me rephrase, it's not that I want to do it if I want to record it, because I'm going to do it either way. But I feel like two different arm exercises in one video, like a lot of the videos that I have where it is kind of just that, it gets very redundant, because I feel like it's just the same movement. You guys really aren't seeing anything special. Something I've recently been trying to do is just switch it up with the exercises that I show. Maybe there'll be some exercise that I'm still doing that I wouldn't normally do, or there's exercises that I would do that I've done like the last time I had to do those exercises, but I at least try to switch it up with at least one of the exercises, and I usually try to make it like two different exercises, like ones that you haven't seen before. Eventually I'll run out of them, kind of combinations, but for now I haven't ran out of them. But besides that, I'm gonna be honest. I've been like nervous to film here again. Like, it's only been a day, but I was nervous to film here, and I think that kind of stems from me. I have kind of a surprise. I was gonna show you guys today, but I can't really show it. So my goal is to try it tomorrow, and hopefully I have some confidence to do what I want to do. But I feel like because I've been nervous about the thing that I wanted to do today, which it's kind of a pain in the ass that I have to kind of keep it a surprise, but I want to keep it a surprise. But if I wasn't nervous with the thing that I wanted to do, I feel like I'd be a lot less nervous to film right now. But I am a little nervous, so I'll keep it real. I've never really been a person to deal with like nervousness within the gym. Like the only time the first time I ever had like nerves going into the gym was when I first got this camera, and you guys saw it. There was a 3-video stint where I said, I didn't go to the gym and all that, and I basically had 3 days where I worked out, brought my camera and all that, and then I never actually filmed anything. And I think it's came back a little bit, but with the other thing, and now it's kind of just going into everything else. So hasn't been too much of a comfortable time for me, I guess, but that's fine. Also, one more thing before I get into this first working set. I know I didn't film a chest video yesterday. I'm thinking about, or well, let me preface. The reason I didn't film is because I was with my family. They surprised me with a hotel room last night, and they said, we want to spend one final day with you. So we got a hotel, and so I was like, all right, let me spend the time with my family rather than film, doing like kind of work but not really work because I don't get paid for this. So lesson to be learned there. Family's more important than money or your hobbies. Your family should be your number one priority in life. If you are someone who is having kind of like a dilemma between choices, and one of the choices is something to do with your family, do the thing with your family. At the end of the day, they're the closest people to you, and I would argue that your family members might know you more than most people. There's a chance that your friends know you more than your parents, and there's a chance that your grandparents know you more than your friends, or your parents know you more than your friends. I can't guarantee it, but I think it is more likely that your parents know you more than your friends know you, or some family relative within your family. So do things with your family. They like you, most likely. So please do it. Anyways, I'm gonna get this first working set. We got 260 on the machine. Like I said, if I get 10, we're gonna switch to unilateral, and then I kind of got to figure that out how a good set. So I might do another warm up just in case. All right. I was floating up on the seat. I want to say those last 2 reps, I was basically just floating. Like, that's one thing I don't like about this machine in particular, and really any machine where I can do more weight than my own body weight. And it's because I really, I can't keep myself locked, which, one good thing, if I were to switch to a unilateral version of this, I can kind of hold myself down with, you guys here, I'll move the camera just so you can see it. But I could hold myself down on the seat and then do it. But if you're doing bilateral, you can't do that. So honestly, I might just switch to unilateral just so that I can kind of have that stability. But I'll figure that I'll figure that out by the time I'm ready to go on my next working set. Oh, what's up? No, you're all good.
It looks so cool.
Oh, it's so this is obviously just the tripod. This is separate, and then we got the actual camera, which is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked at it and I was like, you look pretty cool actually.
Yeah. Yeah, nice to meet you. Look at that. Got a little conversation in it. Even if it wasn't too crazy. You guys will see that. Yeah, I am going to switch it to unilateral. I'm going to try 160. 160. We're going to do a quick test run. Okay, not 160. 85. Okay. Yeah, I think 100 unilateral is best play here. So we're basically going back to the starting warm-up weight for these last couple sets. But what was I gonna say? Oh, one thing I really wanted to talk about, because I was thinking about this last night, and I thought about it a little bit more today. But I think when a lot of people like kind of look at like self-help stuff, like whether it's self-help videos, self-help books, stuff like that, a lot of people come to an idea that they wanna be themselves. But I really think that a lot of people, they're kind of using the term being their self as kind of like a way to basically be a more ideal version of themselves. And that ideal version of themselves comes from, kind of just like something they've seen. Like, for example, let's say you have me. You guys know I'm a little antisocial, a little introverted. Let's say I see a guy public speak for hours on end. Everybody loves it. And I'm someone who wants to have that. I'm going to be like, man, I need to be myself more. But my version of what I want myself to be is that ideal public speaker that I saw. And I feel like a lot of people, whether it's public speaking, whether it's, physique, whether it's anything you could really kind of compare other people to, a lot of people will use that comparison and call it being themselves. So I really, like, my biggest takeaway is, being yourself really is more just being like everyone else. And, please refute this if you think I'm wrong. Although I said I thought about this last night and a little bit today. There very well could be some contradictions to this, but based off of my thinking, I think that's where I'm going. But one thing I will say that I think if you want to truly be yourself, first you need to love yourself. And this, you might ask yourself, well, how do you love yourself? Because some people don't really know. But one thing I think really, and I've said this time and time again, but one thing I really think, helps is just being a little egotistical about yourself. If you, let's say you got a 90 on your last test, if you're a student, brag about that 90. If you benched 225, brag about that 225 bench. If you, I don't know, if you ran a 5K, brag about that 5K. Brag about something in your life that you are somewhat proud of, and that positive thinking that you have, that you feel accomplished with something that you've done. The positivity of that accomplishment will build into other things in life, and you will learn that you can love yourself through who you are. That maybe that sounded a little cliche. I don't really care, but if you're trying to figure out how to love yourself, just be a little egotistical. What like Christianity is like pride is one of the 7 deadly sins or something like that. I don't think pride. I mean, let me make this very clear. I'm agnostic. I don't really believe in any kind of religion, but I can't prove that God doesn't exist. That's why I don't really like atheists. But that's besides the point. But I don't necessarily think that being prideful or being egotistical is bad. At the end of the day, it's a form of loving yourself. And if you can't find it through other people, then it's going to be really difficult to find happiness. So just be a little egotistical. At the end of the day, you don't have to flaunt it at other people, but you can flaunt it to yourself. Remind yourself in your head, yeah, I did that, and you'll be a little better. And what was I going to go on to? Oh, but once you love yourself, and I think once you love yourself, you can learn how to be yourself And then the last thing I think you should really do is kind of try and embarrass yourself as much as possible. Like that embarrassment that you get from here. Let's just say, for me, for example, I was embarrassed to record videos. I was worried about me getting judged by other people. I was worried about me getting judged by people I know in the past. I was worried about getting judged by my mom. But I still pushed through it. I was like, okay, I want to do this, but I don't want to deal with this. But I also want this more than I can, worry about that. So I did it anyways. And, it was embarrassing at first. And it still is a little bit embarrassing, as I said earlier. But, it's very much, it's important that you do it as you get out of your comfort zone. And you, let me think of the word real quick. You get out of your comfort zone and you get more used to staying out of that comfort zone. Now, I will admit, this kind of became a part of my comfort zone. So I need to do a little bit more than, just filming. But, if you're someone who doesn't film or has something that they want to do but doesn't do it, and in the long run, it will be better. One thing I think this YouTube stuff has really helped me with is just articulating myself. Maybe it doesn't seem like it, but in my mind, I think I can articulate myself a lot better than I did before I started this YouTube stuff. So, even if you don't see the success that you initially want, I think there's some value in at least trying the thing that you want. So, that's my takeaway. And, embarrass yourself a little bit. Anyways, I'm going to get into these next couple working sets. And when I mean working sets, I mean one each hand. So, like I said before I went on that little spiel, 100 pounds each arm. We're going to see how many we could do, and we'll go from there. Okay. Man, that was difficult. But I still feel like I could do a little more than that if I do this again. No, I'm not going to up the weight just because I want to keep the arms somewhat proportionate weight-wise. So I am going to keep the weight the same. But if I ever do this again, I'm going to go up in weight because I feel like I did like 12 there, 12, 14. What time? I need to see the time real quick. Sorry if this is, well, oh my God, it's 10:30. I'm wasting time. Holy moly. All right, well, one thing, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna get into this last set. So after these two workouts that you guys will see, it's physique check day, every 6th of the month, or sometimes earlier, sometimes later, depending on if the 6th falls on a weekend. But it doesn't today. So we're gonna do a little physique check. You guys will see me. It might be silent depending on if my roommate's sleeping or not, or how it really just depends on that. But you guys will see the physique. I've honestly been proud of my physique recently. My front double bicep, I feel like it's gotten a lot better since the last time I posed. You guys could be the judge. Maybe I'll throw some photos from before this current check, and you guys can figure that out. But I think it looks a little better. All right. that was a long clip. Sorry if that got boring. I don't think it did. I feel like I had some good points there. But I'll turn back on the camera when I got another exercise ready, and I'll see you guys then. Alright, what's up, Wolfpack? We got the next recorded set. This one might be a little less, jam-packed in terms of what I want to talk about. Because I literally just filmed the tricep exercise. I was going to do a forearm in between, but as I did it, my forearm, mainly this wrist was really hurting. So I'm gonna skip it today, just in case. But I'm actually gonna move this up. We got 55 pounds on the machine. Just do as many as I feel like, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we'll move it up to 100 for now, and then we'll go from there. One thing I guess I could talk about is, like I said yesterday, I went to a hotel with my mom because they wanted to spend another day with me. But one thing my mom told me was that all of my clothes smell awful. According to her, it smells like food and sweat. And I don't really smell it. I can understand, maybe why both of those would be the case. I've talked about, my roommate making food, and obviously I go to the gym quite a lot. So I'm going to sweat. But, I guess my question for you guys is, how do you get out that sweat smell? Because food thing, that's gonna be done by I can't say it's gonna be done, but it probably won't be as big of an issue come next year. But sweat, I'm still gonna be going to the gym, unless I get injured. But I don't think I'm gonna get injured. I'm pretty cautious with my body. So, my question is, how do you get the sweat smell out of your clothes? I wash my clothes, quite a lot. You guys know, or I shouldn't say quite a lot. I wash them once a week. So maybe that's not the best thing in the world, But my question is, what do you guys think? Or if you have any advice on how to get it out, or get my clothes to smell nicer. And then, yeah, just leave it in the comments. And speaking of commenting, if you have any opinions you want me to talk about, any thoughts I have on certain topics, certain subjects, feel free to ask me. We probably have similar interests, so I'll probably have something to say about what you want to hear about. So please comment it. Also, one thing I'm really considering is you guys know I've done a couple chest videos now. I'm thinking about putting those chest videos, I make a third channel. You guys don't, most of you don't know about the second channel, which is just my old streams. If you wanted to, I could plug that somewheres, but there's nothing that special in there. But I feel like I might make a chess YouTube channel where I just film my one game for the day. Because, I bet you most of you guys probably don't want to watch the chess content. And if you see it in your feed, you're probably not going to be too happy. So if you guys want me to, I'll make a poll probably after this video goes up, if you guys want a separate chess channel, or if you're fine with it just all in one. Because the only reason I like to keep it on this one, it's because, I'll be honest, it's because I don't have monetization yet. And if I get the watch hours and the subs, then I can eventually get it. But if I'm posting on 2 separate channels, then I basically have those watch hours split up. So I figured if I could put it all in one and then make it a little quicker. But if you guys really don't like it, I'd rather, at the end of the day, you guys are the reason I'm able to do this, or well, it would be the reason I'm able to do this as like a full-time thing. So, it's up to you guys at the end of the day. Either way, I'm going to be posting chess videos as long as I have this chess stint. But, it's really up to you guys if you want to stay on this channel or if you want me to make a separate channel. And I'll probably give it a couple days. So I'm going to do this first working set now. Like I said, after the warm-up, we got 100 pounds on the machine. If we get more than 10, go up and wait. If not, we'll stick with this. Okay. Whew. My wrists are not feeling the greatest. No, we'll keep it the same weight for next set. I guess one thing I could talk about is, you really need to standardize your sets in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, let me go to a lighter weight, for example, so I could show you guys without, fatiguing myself too much. Okay, but let's say I do this. You should really end at like a set point in mind. It doesn't have to be exact every time. Maybe a little here, a little there. But on a machine like this, let it go down to where you're not holding the weight anymore, or at least close to that. Like when you hear that click of the weight that you're doing, hit the weight that you're not doing, or if you're maxing it, just the weight hitting the machine. Hear that click and then go back up. One thing I'll say is that if you don't really standardize your sets, you can't track well. Now, I'm not one to track often, but I will admit, if you are the one to track, if you're going here, like this is going to be a lot easier than going all the way down here, all the way up here. So, if you are one to track your weights and your reps, and you have varying like ranges of motion, it might mess up with your standardization, or well, it might mess up with your tracking, as you're not going to be able to consistently put up the same numbers every single day. Now, this will be a very minimal thing, I'll admit that, but if you truly are like hyper focused on tracking, I really suggest standardizing it at some point, which I think what I'm kind of talking about is just like dead stopping, where you kind of you basically, when you end your first rep, you basically go back to where you started. But I don't know the proper terminology. You guys can let me know if you know. But if you are one to track, I really do suggest having some kind of standardization, as it'll make your tracking a lot more consistent. But I'm gonna end off this set. I'm gonna do my last working set here. So, like last set, still 100 pounds. We'll do this. I'll have my little outro, and you guys will see the physique check. All right. Okay. Whew. All right. That's the end of the video. Or well, the end of the exercises. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share with your favorite friends and coworkers. If you want to follow me on other platforms, there'll be a link tree in the description. You can follow that. You'll get all my links. And make sure you guys do your laundry. And I'll see you guys for the physique check.